Rugby union thrives on grit and loyalty, yet it's been rocked by scandals that'll leave you speechless. From fake injuries to million-dollar betrayals, we're uncovering 6 moments that shook the game to its core. These aren't just headlines, they're stories that rewrote rugby's history. Stay with us, because what you're about to discover will blow your mind. Let's dive into the first scandal, a moment that still haunts rugby's conscience. It's April 2009, and Harlequins are locked in a brutal Champions Cup quarter-final against Leinster. The score's tight, 6-5, with minutes left. Harlequins need a miracle to turn the tide. First-choice fly half and goal kicker, Nick Evans had already left the field injured. His replacement, Chris Malone, has also departed with a hamstring injury, leaving the team without an out-and-out kicker to potentially clinch the winning points. And then, with time slipping away, out of nowhere, their winger, Tom Williams, staggers off the pitch, blood streaming from his mouth. The referee halts play, and following some off-field drama, Nick Evans returns to the field, a kicker who could change the game. Fans grip their seats, thinking it's a tragic injury, but something's off. That blood? It wasn't real. Williams had bitten a capsule, a prop straight out of a spy movie, to fake the injury. The goal? Get a stronger kicker on the field to snatch victory. Harlequins' bench knew the plan, and it almost worked. But cameras don't lie. A replay showed the truth, and whispers spread like wildfire. By the next week, the story exploded. Dubbed Bloodgate, it wasn't just about one player. Evidence revealed a darker plot. Coaches had orchestrated it, even pressuring a doctor to cut Williams' lip to sell the lie. The fallout was ruthless. Dean Richards, Harlequins' director of rugby and a legend in the sport, was banned for 3 years. The physio involved lost their license. Williams faced a 12-month suspension, later reduced, but his name was tainted. But what of the outcome of the game? Nick Evans would ultimately miss a late drop goal attempt, and Leinster would emerge victorious despite the underhand tactics of Harlequins. Bloodgate didn't just embarrass Harlequins, it forced rugby to rewrite its rulebook. New checks on substitutions and medical protocols came fast, but the damage lingered. Fans felt cheated, wondering if other teams had pulled similar stunts. Stadiums buzzed with distrust. This scandal wasn't just a bad call, it showed how desperation could twist rugby's honour, leaving everyone asking, what else don't we know? Now let's move to scandal number 2, where money took centre stage. In 2019, Saracens were the giants of English rugby. They'd won 3 Premiership titles in 4 years and ruled Europe's Champions Cup. Their squad was a dream team. Owen Farrell's precision, Maro Itoje's power, the Vunipola brothers' brute force, but whispers grew. How could one club afford so many stars? The Premiership's salary cap, set to keep teams equal, was strict. At the time, around £7 million per season. Saracens, it seemed, weren't playing by those rules. An investigation cracked the case wide open. Saracens had funneled extra cash to players through backdoor deals. Their owner, Nigel Ray, set up side businesses, property ventures, consultancies, that paid players far beyond their official salaries. Some estimates pegged the overspend at millions over years. This wasn't a clerical error, it was a system to dodge the cap and dominate. When the truth hit, the punishment was swift and savage. Saracens were fined £5.36 million and docked 35 league points, plunging them into a relegation fight. By 2020, they were demoted to the Championship, a gut punch for a club used to packed stadiums and silverware. The rugby world split. Some fans called it cheating, plain and simple. Others saw Ray as a clever businessman outsmarting a flawed system. Players, caught in the crossfire, insisted they just wanted to play. Saracens fought back, earning promotion in 2021, but their legacy carried a scar. This scandal wasn't just about cash, it challenged rugby's fairness. Smaller clubs, scraping by, wondered if they'd ever compete. Fans debated whether the cap itself was broken. Saracens' fall showed that even giants could stumble, but it left a nagging fear. Are others bending the same rules? Our third scandal shifts from boardrooms to the field, where rugby's heart beats and breaks. Rugby unions built on collisions, but those hits have a hidden cost. By the 2010s, players were bigger, tackles were harder, and a silent crisis emerged. Brain injuries. Former players started speaking out. Men like Steve Thompson, England's 2003 World Cup hooker, who said he couldn't recall that victory. His memories, his triumphs, were gone. Others reported depression, memory lapses, even signs of dementia in their 30s and 40s. In 2021, the issue boiled over. Over 400 players, from grassroots to internationals, launched lawsuits against World Rugby, the RFU, and other governing bodies. They claimed rugby hadn't protected them from repeated concussions. Science backed their fears. Studies linked head trauma to chronic traumatic encephalopathy, CTE, a degenerative brain disease. Players like Alex Popham, another Welsh star, described lives unravelling, broken marriages, lost jobs, fear of forgetting their kids' names. The numbers were chilling. Some estimates suggested 10 to 15% of pro players might face long-term brain issues. Rugby had tried to act. Head injury assessments, introduced in 2012, pulled players for checks after big hits, but the lawsuits argued it wasn't enough. Players were often waved back on, pressured to keep playing. The legal battle's still raging, with potential payouts in the hundreds of millions. If the players win, rugby might face lower tackles, stricter rest rules, or even limits on contact in training. But resistance is fierce. Some fans and coaches say softening the game kills its spirit. This scandal's different. It's not about one team or match. It's about whether rugby can survive its own intensity. Every hit you cheer might carry a cost we're only starting to understand. Now let's head to France for Scandal 4, where power and greed collided. In 2022, French rugby was on fire. Their national team was a World Cup favourite, and the top 14 league drew massive crowds. But one man stood above it all. Bernard Laporte, president of the French Rugby Federation. A former player and coach, he'd led France to Grand Slams and shaped the sport's future. Then, the law came knocking. Laporte was charged with corruption, accused of trading favours for cash. The heart of it was his ties to Mohamed Altrad, a billionaire who owned Montpellier, a top 14 powerhouse. Altrad's company landed juicy sponsorship deals with France's national team, deals Laporte allegedly pushed through. In return, Altrad got influence, maybe even leniency for his club. There were claims Laporte leaned on referees to favour Montpellier, tilting matches in their favour. The trial gripped France. Laporte denied everything, painting himself as a victim, but emails, contracts and testimonies painted a different picture. In 2022, he was convicted, handed a 2-year suspended sentence, and fined. Altrad faced similar penalties. Both were barred from rugby roles, though Laporte's appealing, eyeing a comeback. This wasn't just a French mess, it rocked global rugby. Laporte had been vice-chairman of World Rugby and tied to the 2023 World Cup. His fall raised ugly questions. Was rugby's leadership for sale? Fans booed louder at officials, trust eroding. France's team kept winning, but the scandal left a bitter taste, a reminder that even rugby's kings could fall to greed. Scandal 5 hits Wales, where rugby's more than a game, it's life. In 2025, Cardiff Rugby, a club with 150 years of history, faced disaster. They'd struggled for cash in a crowded Welsh market, with 4 pro teams splitting fans and sponsors. Then, the bombshell. Cardiff went into administration, unable to pay players or staff. The Welsh Rugby Union stepped in, taking control of the historic Wlesh club to keep it alive. A lifeline, sure, but the story's messier. Cardiff's owner, Helford Capital, had swept in during 2024, promising to bankroll a revival. Fans dreamed of packed stadiums and new stars. Instead, Helford's funds dried up fast. By early 2025, players weren't paid, and debts piled high. The WRU's takeover saved Cardiff, but it exposed cracks across Welsh rugby. 4 pro teams were too many for a small nation. Gates were down, sponsors scarce. Fans raged, blaming the WRU for letting it get this far. Smaller clubs like Pontypridd feared they'd be next to fold. Cardiff's playing again, but the rescue feels shaky. If another club falls, Welsh rugby might lose its soul. This scandal's raw, and its shadow looms over every match. The rise and fall of Stuart Hogg, our final scandal, hits at a legend's fall. Stuart Hogg was Scotland's golden boy, a fullback with flair and fire. Born in Hawick, he rose fast, debuting for Glasgow Warriors in 2011 at 18. By 2012, he was Scotland's star, scoring tries against France and England. He earned 100 caps, captained his country, and was Scotland's all-time try scorer until 2023. Hogg toured with the British and Irish Lions 3 times, won Six Nations Player of the Tournament in 2016 and 2017, and lifted European and Premiership titles with Exeter Chiefs. Fans loved his speed and grit. Even J.K. Rowling called him a wizard. In 2024, he was named an MBE for rugby's services. But off the pitch, Hogg's life unravelled. In November 2024, he pleaded guilty to domestic abuse against his estranged wife, Gillian, over 5 years. Court records painted a grim picture. Hogg, often drunk, shouted and swore at her, berating her for not being fun while she cared for their 4 kids. He sent over 200 texts in hours, causing panic attacks, and tracked her via an app. In February 2024, he was arrested outside her home, breaching bail by contacting her again. He admitted his actions, entered rehab, and faced sentencing in January 2025. He avoided jail but got a year's supervision, 2 5-year non-harassment orders, and a fine. Hogg's fall shocked rugby. The MBE winning hero, once a role model, was now a cautionary tale. Some called for his honours to be stripped. His move to Montpellier in 2024, after retiring in 2023, felt hollow. Fans grappled with his legacy. Could they cheer his tries knowing his actions? This scandal wasn't about rugby's rules. It was about a star's betrayal of trust, showing even idols can crumble. These 5 scandals, Bloodgate's trickery, Saracens' money games, concussion's toll, Laporte's deals, Cardiff's collapse, and Stuart Hogg's demise, each cut deep. They didn't just grab headlines. They forced rugby to change. Salary caps tightened, tackle laws evolved, and financial oversight grew. But the sport's still on edge, balancing tradition with survival. These stories remind us, rugby's tough, but it's fragile too. Rugby's heart beats strong, but its secrets never sleep. Keep your eyes open, because what's next could redefine the sport you love.